Yo, welcome to the pod. I got plenty of things lined up for you guys today. But first things first, let's talk about NBA All-Star Weekend. As of this recording, it's currently Monday after NBA All-Star Weekend just took place. You know, I'm a little bit of a procrastinator, so I got to record this podcast, get it edited, and then send it out to you guys by tomorrow morning. So we going to figure it out. But first things first, as everyone knows, NBA All-Star, it's kind of like started to die down a little bit because there's been a big problem with players just lacking effort and like nothing really exciting, or at least nothing as exciting that has been happening in the past. Not as much exciting stuff is just happening nowadays in the All-Star Weekend. To start off with, let's talk about the All-Star game itself. As y'all know, the East absolutely went crazy, dropped over 200 points, and I think the combined total was like 397 points or something between the two teams. Yes, one basketball game with a combined score of 397, which I'm cool with the high scoring as long as there's like some crazy highlights, which of course there are some crazy highlights because you got the best basketball players in the world all in the same court. But I feel like it's kind of getting a little stale. It's too offensive driven. You know, you can have defensive highlights. Every highlight doesn't have to be offensive like it is in the All-Star game. Now, I got a good idea, at least in my opinion. I think it's a good idea of what we can do to kind of fix this situation. And that starts off with simply the players caring about the game and the players playing actual defense. As y'all know, the players, for the most part, really do not care, especially Jokic and Luka. They really do not care, and neither does Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards literally played everything he participated in only left-handed. How little do you have to care about something to play with your weak hand for the entire event? I believe the winner of the All-Star game, either the East or West, whoever ends up winning, they get to donate a certain amount of money to a charity or something. That's like the only thing that's at stake for this All-Star game. And if we're being honest, the players really don't care about that. Now, what do the players all care about? Money. They care about that bag. Fuck charity. Fuck helping people that need the money. Let the rich get richer. Chase the motherfucking bag. That's what all these players are after. And if that's what it takes to get good basketball, I'm all for it. Throw the bag at the All-Star game and let's see what happens. You could just do East versus West and the winner gets a certain bag. But I think what a better idea for that would be is like to divide up these players. I don't know how you're going to divide them up, but divide them up into like maybe 4 teams or maybe, I don't know, 8's too much. Divide them up into like 4 teams and have like a little bracket. And you could like you could go back to captains or what. You could do 2 East captains, 2 West captains to decide the 4 teams. However you want to divide the teams up. Have them play each other in a little tournament. It could be like to a set score, like 1st to 50 or something like that. Or maybe that's too much. Maybe even do like a time, like maybe have them play for just a quarter and then move on to the next round. Anyways, whoever wins the whole thing gets like a huge bag. Like, I feel like the NBA has enough money to where they could easily put out like a 4 or 5 mil prize pool and divide it up between like 6 or 7 players or something like that. But the All-Star game isn't the only problem with All-Star weekends. Another big problem with All-Star weekend, which I think is the primary problem, is the dunk contest. And honestly, I really don't know the solution. The problem with the dunk contest, many people say that the stars don't participate in it, which is just cap. Jaylen Brown just participated in it. And then there's not much stars that are like as great as dunking as you think there are that have not competed. Like, let's be honest, really the only true all-stars who aren't in the dunk contest or never been in the dunk contest that at this day and age would do something crazy, it's really just Anthony Edwards and Zion. And let's be honest, are either of them really going to put up something crazy that Jaylen Brown wouldn't have done? The problem is these NBA players aren't training to go practice dunks all day for the dunk contest. These players are fighting, trying to earn roster spots, trying to get a bag, trying to win championships. These players do not care about learning dunks. It's just a waste of time and effort. It'd be way better for these players to just focus on getting better at the game of basketball all day, every day. So that's what they do. There's just no point in them at all to try to get good at doing a certain dunk to put on a show for out of one night, maybe 2 nights out of their entire life. Almost every dunk that you can imagine has already been done in the dunk contest, at least all the dunks that are capable from NBA players. So it's just super repetitive. Very rarely you see something that's truly never been done. It's just like a revamp of something someone did back in the day. And I'm not saying it's not possible for more crazy dunks to happen. Go watch one of those dunk videos with Jordan Killigan in them. Those are crazy, but those are professional dunkers. Those aren't professional basketball players. Professional dunkers will put on a way better show than what we have currently, but they're not in the NBA. And should they really be part of NBA All-Star Weekend? No, I don't think so. Honestly, I think they just got to scrap the dunk contest. I really don't see any way to make the dunk contest better without bringing in people that aren't NBA players, and that just takes away from the NBA All-Star Weekend. But if we are going to skip to the positives, the three-point contest, both three-point contests were amazing this year. We had a 4-way tie in the first round of the three-point contest for who's going to move on. Everyone was going crazy, dropping 26, and that's just what you love to see. And really, the three-point contest is a perfect event that I don't see getting changed or replaced or just discarded anytime soon. The three-point contest is probably my favorite event just because of how consistently great it is every single year. Also, the Steph and Sabrina contest was crazy. Sabrina was hitting everything. Like, I low-key thought she was going to win because I think she only missed like 2 shots off like her first 2 racks or something crazy like that. She was going stupid. She would have, she had a high enough score to actually be in the men's contest, but we don't talk about that. But the only problem with her going crazy is that going against her was the greatest three-point shooter of all time, Stephen Curry. And, of course, Steph had a little drama to it with not getting off to the greatest start, but it's Steph Curry. He's going to win the contest whenever he's in it. And we could have some crazy years coming up, especially with Caitlin Clark going into the NBA next year. We could do like a 2v2 with Caitlin and Sabrina versus like Clay and Steph or Dame and Steph, someone like that. And that would just be crazy. I feel like if they continue to merge the WNBA and the NBA and these three-point contests and events like that, there's no way Caitlin Clark doesn't at least get one event. Another thing that's great about NBA All-Star Weekend is the skills competition. The skills competition has been very entertaining over the last few years, and Adam Silver is an absolute genius for doing this, of making at least one of the home city's teams. Like last year, it was Team Jazz. This year, it was Team Pacers. If you have the home team have their own little team in the skills challenge, it makes the crowd into it way more, and I feel like it makes the event a lot more competitive and fun. And that's behind the three-point contest. That's the second best thing they have for going for NBA All-Star Weekend as of this moment. I have a great idea for something that should be added to NBA All-Star Weekend. And if I'm being honest, this wasn't my original idea. I kind of stole it from watching the Kenny Beecham and Jason Tatum podcast. A thing that would be great would be a one-on-one tournament during All-Star Weekend. Like I said about the All-Star game, if you just throw a bag as the main prize, I feel like these players would care a lot more about the one-on-one tournament. But the one thing that you would have to do is you'd have to split it up between guards, forward, and centers, because if you have like, let's put it in 2K terms to make it more simple, you have like a 99 overall 6-foot guard versus like a 90 overall center. Even though the guard is a better basketball player, 9 times out of 10, the center is going to win just because of the height advantage. And that doesn't mean centers are the best players in the NBA. That just means that they're taller and they literally have a physical advantage over the other smaller players. And who doesn't want to see that forward contest? That forward contest would be crazy. You'd have KD, LeBron, Paul George, Kawhi, JT, Jimmy Butler. That'd be a crazy 1v1 contest, and I don't know who doesn't want to see that. And who doesn't want to see a one-on-one between Shea and John Morant? That'd be an absolutely crazy 1v1. And that could be the main event on Saturday night. They could completely scrap the dunk contest. They could still have the 3-point contest before, and then just have the main event be the one-on-one tournament. That would be so fire. Moving on to our next topic, there's no way I could talk about the state of the NBA right now and not address this major topic. Let's talk about the 65-game award requirement. If you're not tapped in with the NBA and you don't know what the 65-game requirement is, essentially the NCAA, not the NCAA, I'm tripping. The NBA and some of its representatives, such as Adam Silver and others, had a meeting with the National Basketball Players Association, which is pretty self-explanatory. I think Chris Paul is runs it. It's just an association of the players that can represent themselves so things are fair within the NBA. Anyways, they had a meeting because the NBA is getting a new TV deal, and something that these streaming platforms and networks wanted. They wanted to see players play more games because that makes them more money. And so what all parties found that would fit perfectly was a 65-game requirement to win awards and be a part of all NBA teams, get MVPs, Defensive Player of the Years, Rookie of the Years, get on the defensive teams, the rookie teams, all NBA teams, etc. You have to play a minimum of 65 games. And everyone prior to the season was loving the rule change because it made how many games a player needs to play in order to win an award so much more valuable, because there are seasons where we had two people competing for an award, and this guy's got 60 games played, but he's got a little bit worse numbers than the guy with 48 games played. And it's who do you take? Do I want this slightly better player for 12 less games, or I want this slightly worse player for 12 more games? It just makes it a lot more easier. It gives us a certain mark to where it's way easier to decide who wins what award. But the worst possible scenario that could have came out of this happened this year. Joel Embiid, who was the clear-cut front-runner to win this year's MVP, goes down. He's out for the season with a torn meniscus, and he ain't getting that MVP. This had many people upset and wanting the rule to be revoked or go back to the old way it was. And I just don't deem that necessary. One thing that I don't think gets valued enough is availability. You know what they say, availability is your best ability. This is the problem I've always had with Joel Embiid. Me personally, I would never build a franchise around an injury-prone player. When you have someone like a Jason Tatum or LeBron James that you know is going to play most of the season, and you can rely on them to stay healthy, be like an Iron Man, like a Russell Westbrook type of your team, I'm going to take that all day over someone that's just so injury prone, someone like D Rose or Joel Embiid, because you don't know when it's going to happen, but it's just inevitable that injury will strike for players like them. So I think, yes, the 65-game rule should stay in place. As sad it is to see some players might not ever win awards, or some players might get absolutely snubbed from all NBA teams, which I will agree that maybe there should not be a limit for all NBA teams, because I understand Joel Embiid not winning MVP because he got injured this year, but him not making an all-NBA team because he didn't play 65 games is crazy. I'm not going to lie. And it's very obvious that the reason, I won't say this is the 100% reason, but one huge contributor for why Joel Embiid got injured, or at least tore his meniscus completely, was because he was trying to play for injury to meet that 65-game requirement. It was apparent he had to duck Jokic, and he was missing a couple games, and people thought he was genuinely just ducking, but this man was hurt bad, and you could see him kind of limping around on the court against the Warriors before eventually he did get completely hurt and completely tear his meniscus. And in a normal season, this would not have happened because he would have sat out games, he would have done whatever was needed to prevent this injury, and it was apparent that he was going out there playing at not 100%, and that's the reason why he is out for the season. But as much of a shame as it is that he got injured, I feel like at least for the MVP and those awards, the 65-game requirement must stay in place. I can see lowering the game limit for like maybe down to like 55 or 50 for all NBA teams, all rookie, like all of the different teams you can make, I feel like should have a lower limit than the single player awards, like the MVP, the defensive player of the year, the rookie of the year. There should be a higher limit than just not making an NBA team, because there's a difference between being the most valuable player in the league. You have to play a certain amount of games to be that, and there should be a difference between having to play a certain amount of games to be known as one of the top 15 NBA players in the league, or one of the top 10 defensive players, or one of the top 10 rookies in the NBA. All right, now let's dive into our next topic. Everyone has been super excited as the teaser just got dropped for the new college football game. I don't believe it has a name yet, so for the sake of this video, I'm just going to call it NCAA 25. If you've been tapped in, you saw the NCAA 25 teaser dropped on YouTube a few days ago, and people are going crazy. The graphics look great, and the jerseys specifically look amazing. Like, if you're on a high enough device, when you were looking at that teaser, you can see like the individual patches on the uniforms and in the detail they went into on the helmets. It just looked absolutely beautiful. And we haven't had a college football game. When this game will be released, it would have been 11 years. NCAA 14 was the last college football game. They didn't release one for 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. 11 years with no game is crazy. NCAA 25, I don't think it will be as big as Madden 25 because the Madden fan base is way bigger than the college fan base. But I think it's going to give it a run for its money with how long of a wait it has been for this game to come out. And I have been dying for a new game for so long because I never owned a college football game because, yes, I played video games back then when that game came out, but I wasn't a big college football fan until recently, and I sure as hell I didn't even buy Madden until I think Madden 14 was the first Madden that I personally bought for myself. Like, I'm pretty young, and so I have never experienced in my gaming career a new release of a college football game. That is absolutely absurd. I'm 17 years old, about to be 18, and I have never experienced a new release of a college football game. And while we're talking about the game, one thing that I think is very essential to be an NCAA 25 is the ability to transfer your players and your draft classes from the game NCAA 25 to Madden, because that just makes a whole alternate universe to where you can play more than just 3 or 4 years of your player's career. And on the Madden side of it, you can play more than just their NFL career. You can play before. You can play most of that player's football career, excluding like their childhood and high school. And maybe there is a couple high school cutscenes in NCAA 25, but you at least are guaranteed the 3 to 4 years they're in college and then their entire NFL career. That'd be fire. And me, someone who enjoys franchises on Madden, it'd be so fire to play and fall in love with the players that I'm using in the college football game and have the ability to draft them and use them in my Madden franchise. That'd be so fire. Another thing that I think is going to be very interesting about this game is going to be how the transfer portal is going to work and signing recruits, because there's no way they can skip over this without including NIL. As you know, NIL is one of the biggest contributors, if not the biggest contributor, of deciding what students go to what schools, where they transfer to, and etc. Also, something that I don't think will happen, but I would love to happen about the new game is I don't want this game to feel exactly like Madden. I want the gameplay to feel a little bit different, but chances are these are both going to be made on the same software and the games are going to feel identical. I just feel like that's what's going to come. But the one thing that's huge, even if they are like the gameplay is made on the same software engine and all of that, is the atmosphere is going to be absolutely crazy. I've been watching. Check out my boy Eric Rayweather. He keeps you in tune with all the new stuff about Madden and NCAA 25. And from the sounds of it, the atmosphere has been the main priority of what they have been working on in NCAA 25. If I'm in Ohio State Stadium and I'm playing against Michigan, I want the fans to be going absolutely crazy. It's a big fourth down. Michigan's pushing, trying to get the lead. I want the stadium to be literally shaking from the OSU fans screaming, and just the rivalry deep down inside of them and all the emotions mixed up in the game just bursting out and making you, the player, get nervous if you're using the opposite team going against this momentum. Or if you're using the team with the momentum, you're feeling all pumped up. You're like, oh yeah, I'm about to go hit stick this guy. You get that adrenaline and blood just flowing through your body. If they can replicate that into this game, that'd be revolutionary and something that I don't think has ever been done before in the sports gaming industry. And I'm getting super excited just talking about it. And I haven't made my big choice yet. I haven't decided what terrible school I'm going to revamp and make the absolute a national powerhouse. I don't know. I might go Miami of Ohio or some crazy like that, some trash bum school, and make them one of the best in the nation. I haven't decided what team I'm going to yet, but if you know, go ahead and put it down in the comments. You maybe give me a couple recommendations of what school I should transform in the new NCAA at 25. Also, to all the doubters, it's real. It's coming. It's coming this summer. I knew it because I've been tapped in, but so many people were like, man, you tripping. This game ain't coming out this year. They were hating. They were crying about it. They're like, man, this game ain't coming out this year. It's EA. They're not going to drop it. Boom. They absolutely announced it this summer. I'm so excited for it. I think it's going to drop June or July. It has to drop for Madden because of how big of a game Madden is. So it has to drop before that, and the college football regular season starts before the NFL does, so it just makes so much sense for this game to come out in July, and I'm going to be so excited for it. And the last thing I want to talk about before we wrap this pod up is let's talk more about rap. As I mentioned in the last podcast, Polo G dropped his first single in 25 years, Sorries and Ferraris. Bro, I'm actually so sad. I promise you I had the meanest clip out, the meanest take just cooking in the pot. And then my mom just called me, and I'm recording this off my phone using using a voiceover through CapCut. And my mom called me, and the notification made the recording stop. I'm so tight, bro. I was about to have the meanest clip out for y'all, but I'm going to do my best to get my point off again. And I just genuinely don't enjoy music my first listen going into it. Like, if I'm like, an extreme example of this is first listen, I did not like Utopia. I was way too skeptical about it. I didn't know the songs. Actually, I lied. I was going crazy when I heard SZA because y'all already know how I feel about SZA. But the way I enjoy music is I like to, rock my shoulders a little bit, rock my hips, start playing around with my hands. I know my race and my ethnicity, my ethnicity says, you're a little bit too white to be dancing like that, and my movements may be a little bit stiff, but if I know a song, I'm gonna be moving to it. I'm gonna be singing it bar for bar, word for word, going crazy. And that's just how I enjoy music. And I can't do that first listen because I really don't know the beat all too well. Like, sure, I can make the mean mug if the song's really hard. It's my first time listening, kind of shake my head to it a little bit. But I can't really be dancing around to it, and sure is not singing the lyrics, knowing the words if it's my first listen. So to get my point across, I'm always super skeptical of songs first listen. So normally it takes me a couple listens to warm up to it and like any song. So now that I got that point across, I did not like Sorries and Ferraris at first. I was kind of let down by it. But then, I hit repeat button. I listened to it a couple more times, listened to it throughout the day it dropped, the day after, listened to it all weekend. And I messed with it, bro. Like, I might be a little bit biased just because I'm a Polo fan, but man, that song is fire. I'm not going to lie to y'all. That's heavy in my rotation right now. And I'd be shocked. I'd be so shocked if it isn't my number one song of February. Speaking of, I'm about to put y'all on. Y'all I think it's called like Stats FM or something now in the App Store. But just look up SpotiStats. That was its old name. It'll pop up if you do that. Download it, sync your account and everything. It literally gives you Spotify Wrapped for your current like 4 weeks, 6 months, lifetime. And if you sync more of your data with your computer and buy the premium, bro, it's so comp. Look, I could literally tell you what's my top songs over the last 2 days, or the last 186 days. What was my top songs between 2019 and 2022? I can do anything like that. It's so fire. I'm just trying to put y'all on. Don't be mad at me. Just be mad at Spotify because this information isn't free already. I'm sorry it's so much work for it, but if you're like me and you love statistics, you love music, they just combine perfectly. This is not a promo. I'm not being paid to say this, but SpotiStats, if you're listening to this, give your boy a bag, because, I'll say a little bit more if there's a little bag to it, you know what I'm saying? But getting back to it, I mess with Sorries and Ferraris heavy now, and another song that it was leaked for a little bit, and I listened to it, but it's officially on Spotify now, Whatever She Wants by Bryson Tiller. Oh my God, that song is so comp. The beat is so hard, and it's Bryson Tiller. Bryson Tiller has one of the best voices I've ever heard in my life, no glaze, and his flow is immaculate, and the beat goes so hard in that song. It's comp. Go check it out, Whatever She Wants by Bryson Tiller. And the final song I'll be talking about, which kind of was a random drop. I think it dropped on Valentine's Day or sometime around that. It definitely wasn't on a Friday. I was not expecting this drop to come, but Cupid's Guidance by Sleepy Hollow. It's just a little mellow, little chill vibe, damn, I'm single on Valentine's Day. I ain't tripping over it though. I'm just going to chill. That is the exact vibe it gives off. It's fire, bro. Go check it out. Cupid's Guidance by Sleepy Hollow. And that's going to wrap it up for the pod. I appreciated everyone who stayed to the end. Comment a monkey emoji with the hands over the mouth. I don't know why. I just like that emoji a lot. And if you comment that, I'll know you stayed to the end and you're a real one. You're part of the fam. And thank y'all for watching. And now that that's all said, leave a like and sub for a BBL baddie to pop up right up at your front door. And I'll see y'all in the next one.
Mercedes, she whipping the latest. New registration, we all ran the nation. My album went crazy, new certification. More flowers for lady, I love our relation. We went through our phases and changed the location. My cousin out, but I brought out the bacon. I ran out of patience, ain't nobody waiting. My lawyer told me we ain't losing no case.